Welcome to the Wing Life Podcast, where we talk about wing foiling and the lifestyles of those who enjoy this great sport. Well, hey, it's great to meet you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nice little colored room. Where are you right now?
So in Cabo Verde at the moment, and a super colorful house. Chose a nice colored wall for the podcast. And I'm here in preparation for the event here next week in Cabo Verde. So we've been come here to train, but the waves aren't that good yet, so we're waiting on some swell.
Okay, yeah. I just had Tom on the show yesterday. We did a recording for the intro of the season, and he was saying something's coming. Like, how does it look like from your perspective?
Well, I don't like to look ahead too much because mostly you just get a bit disappointed. So at the moment, they're saying it's going to be really good for the competition, so I'm excited. Yeah, I hope the swell's going to be decent size, so probably looking good for the competition.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Was that, how many years have you been going to this particular wave, like Ponta Preta? Do you have a lot of experience there?
It's only my second year, so I was here last year for the competition, so I'm not that experienced. We had last year one good week of swell, so I actually only rode the wave during the competition.
So you went right into it?
Yeah, I arrived the night before the competition last year because we flew in from New Zealand, so it was pretty hectic.
How was that the first time you even seen that thing? Because it's a freight train and it just apparently jacks up super quick.
Well, everybody spoke so highly of it and was making me pretty anxious that in the end when I went under the water it was less bad than I thought. So
oh really?
Okay. I don't know. I was mentally prepared, I guess. And we were training a few days. They started with the kite competition, so the window of the competition for kite and wing are at the same time. So they started with the kite, so we had some time to train on different waves here on the island. So it gave some preparation, like in the wind and the swell. So yeah, in the end it was super fun.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through what riding a wave like that is like on a foil?
Oh, wow. I think Ponta Preta is especially you gotta keep your speed. You gotta keep on going down the line and in the meantime make it look good and do some turns. And then, yeah, that's basically that was my game plan. And at the end of the wave, it gets a little bit less fast and you can maybe do an air or the guys are doing some 360s and then you got some more time to do some turns. But I think it's also these waves, you gotta choose the right set in your heat and just don't get smashed onto the rocks.
Yeah, I heard the rocks there can be pretty intense. And my neighbor, who's a big windsurfer, he said, yeah, only the pros ride there and all the time their gear gets up on the rocks. So it's like you can't go there as an amateur for the most part because you're going to lose something. But Tom was saying the competition was pretty successful last year. Like it went fairly well.
Yeah, I think it was the first wave competition ever for the GWA. So, and wing foiling in general, on a world tour level. And I think it was super successful. Also from the beach, it was super nice to watch. And so I'm really excited to also watch this year because everybody has improved a lot. Also, everybody riding on the tour. So it's like a spectacle, you know?
Oh, yeah. I heard it's pretty close to the beach too, right? So spectators can watch from close.
I feel like you can stand from maybe 10, 15 meters to where the wave is breaking. So you're super close. It's you're in a cinema.
Nice. That's going to be so much fun for you guys.
Also for the live stream, it's super nice.
Okay, we will make sure to have to catch that over here and
exactly.
see that. So that's coming up next week, right? The 15th, I think the window opens.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, 15 till 25.
Nice. So you got 1 week. What's your week look like coming up?
Just ride as much as possible. Now we're waiting for swell to arrive, so you literally can't ride it. Well, you can ride there, but you can't ride the waves. It's only crashing a little bit on the rocks. So hopefully in 2 days we get the swell, and then we can start riding at Ponta Preta. And maybe if it gets super busy, you have some other waves where we can ride.
Is that wave tide dependent? Can you only go on a specific kind of tide there, or is it just based on the size of the swell that makes it better?
I think it's based on the swell, but if there's decent swell, you could, I think, ride it all the time. It's probably at some moments it's better, but I must say I can't remember from last year. We'll just see this year.
No, fair enough. Well, hey, it's my first time meeting you, but there's a lot of people around the world that might not follow the tour as closely. When did you start into water sports?
So from a young age, I've been windsurfing a lot, and I was lucky enough to come from a family where parents are both windsurfing, and we
Oh,
lived
nice.
half a year in the Netherlands and half a year in South Africa. So I grew up moving around a lot and being able to enjoy the waters in Cape Town. And then, like 4 or 5 years ago, I started getting into foiling. And I must say, with shame, that I haven't touched my windsurf set anymore
No, don't
since.
tell us that.
But, yeah, no, it's such a good setup to be able to windsurf for winging. But I've been enjoying winging a lot. And I also, when I was younger, I did a lot of supping, so in the waves and racing a little bit, like on a low competitive level, not anything crazy.
Oh, that's cool. Where did the dream kind of come into play that you would then join and try to compete on tour? And not just compete, but win.
Actually, I didn't have a dream of competing at all. I've always loved water sports and enjoyed it a lot, but I didn't see myself as like a professional or a competitor at all. But then when I started winging, I was only winging like half a year, and then I ran into one of the team managers from RRD, and they immediately gave me a contract for winging. So I was riding for them, and then he was saying to me like, "Ah, you should compete in the water competition," and I didn't think I would be good enough. And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, just go and see," and then I ended up winning that first competition. So that's how I kind of rolled in to
Oh,
competing,
no way.
because I was like, I'm signed up for this competition. I have to train freestyle. And I can't do anything. And then I just practiced a lot for like 2 or 3 weeks. So that was enough to get me the first spot in the start of the sport. So, and then from that moment on, I was like, oh, competing is really fun. If you win, of course, it's fun. So,
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
And I experienced getting to travel to compete and meet all the people I'd been following, who I was a kind of like a fan of in wing foiling. So I really enjoyed this aspect of it as well. And being able to go on the water with like-minded people who are also winging at a higher level, is really something I enjoy the most about competing, I think.
Oh, yeah. And then you get to ride these amazing spots, have nobody on the water and
Yeah.
share it with like family and friends kind of thing, I guess, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had it in, I don't remember. I was like I think it was in Dakla in the last competition. We were like, you're just out with just the two of you and there's no one else on the wave, and I just came out of the heat like, it was just the two of us. I enjoyed it so much. Just this wave for just the two of us. It's a special feeling, yeah.
That's what Tom and I briefly touched upon that, especially at Ponta Preta, because it's like 30, 40 people
Yeah.
sometimes, and then you get it to yourself, which is
Yeah,
so
exactly.
special.
I'm gonna luckily experience it here again, yeah.
Yeah, no, I hope you guys get some good stuff coming in. So 2021 Freestyle World Champ, can you walk us through a little bit about that? Like how did that season feel, and what did that feel like
Uh
so early on?
I mean, it was super early in the sport, and of course, I
Yeah.
won the first competition, so I was pretty like, for me, it was very unexpected. So I was pretty set up pretty well for the season, and it motivated me a lot to train for the next competition. And those actually also went really well. And with the sport, like we were all just doing something. I don't know, just doing like being to do a 360, and then we learned how to do some spins and some 540s, and yeah, it was fun learning and growing with the competition. And then I remember it wasn't even the last competition of the year. We were in Brazil, and I won the competition, and I thought like, I think I'm world champion, but nobody was saying anything to me. And I was like, I was asking people like, can you please help me calculate? Because I'm not sure. And then no one's saying anything. And then we were calculating like on our phones together. We're like, wow, it's really true. It's really true. Like, and it was really a nice, special moment, especially in Brazil. It was my first time in Brazil, and I've really fell in love with the country as well. It's such a nice atmosphere, warm water, really good to train. So we celebrated really well that time, and it was really a special, really nice moment. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially and I guess you guys are wearing what, like 7 mil wetsuits in Brazil. It gets super cold over there, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not like us poor
no.
Canadian people with 8 mil, and we're going out
Oh,
anyways. Yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah. I'm, I must say,
balls is
at the
good for
moment,
that.
yeah, I sometimes unbelievable, like seeing him go out in the snow and the ice. Like, I must say, I'm a little bit spoiled, so I don't really tend to go too much in the winter. I always try, and then after the session, I go out and I'm telling everybody, please, if I ever want to go out in the winter again, please stop me. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. All I'm trying to do is like not fall and survive.
Pretty much, yeah. And then
Yeah,
your feet go
yeah,
numb,
yeah,
your
yeah.
hands go numb, your face goes numb.
Yeah, no.
But you're fortunate.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
have you found the tricks from like when you first started to what they are now for you to rank and compete on the women's side? Like, have you seen? Obviously, you've seen a huge progression. Anything kind of catch you off, or is there anything that's coming down the pipe that you think is super exciting?
Yeah, well, with the woman, we were all going pretty much at the same speed with the tricks. And then, of course, this summer, Nia came with the, and Oran was already trying backflips for a long time, but she was not very consistent on them. And then Nia came with the backflip and the palau. And then I was like, oh no, I have to step up my game. And yeah, and in Puerto, I learned how to backflip, and I actually really enjoyed the process of learning. But I must say, afterwards, I wasn't with on a spot with wind from the left for a while, and I kind of had to step over that, like having to try and learn again. So now with the freestyle
Oh yeah, from a
competitions, I'm
different
hoping
tack.
to, yeah. So and if I'm not around a lot of freestylers, I tend to just concentrate on wave riding and a lot of tricks I know. So I'm I need to get back into really pushing myself a little bit. But yeah, now with the wave tour coming up on the first competition, I've really been concentrating a lot on wave. So
And like, what tricks are you hoping to be able to pull off, or what do you think you could pull off on the wave? Because you just have to let the wing flag out. So, what is it that you feel that you could get with that? Like, I'm waiting for a first front flip or something on a wave just flagged out. I think
on
that
the
would be
wave,
insane.
yeah, but in the wave tour, you can only hold the wing on the leading edge.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. Think
I
that's
think
possible?
it's wow. I think everything's possible. We're gonna still see so much more in winging, but at the moment, I haven't seen anybody try, or I haven't seen anything like it. But I wouldn't be surprised if people are gonna try crazy things. People have been training for the last few months, and they're keeping it a secret. They know if they post it that people are gonna try and train it. So
How is that? Do you keep certain tricks under your hat and wait for competition? Is that kind of how things go?
at the moment, I haven't really done that, but I've seen it happening. I've seen it happening. We saw it, I think, at the Tarifa event this year. We saw it a lot with the back mob, with the guys, and Nia with the Palau, like posting it like a few hours or the night before the competition, so nobody has time to practice it. And then like on the first day of the competition, you see people in the morning getting into the water, like immediately like trying and practicing it, and some people already landing it. So you can see like how fast it goes, and the sport progresses so fast.
Yeah, so she just posted that just as a little entry into into what she was going to pull off the
Yeah,
next day. That's
but I
hilarious.
mean,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fun,
but
no?
I mean, good for her if she learned how to
Yeah.
do it. Like, keep it. In the tour, we have like an innovation score. So if you're the first one to land it in a competition, that whole competition, it will count with a little multiply factor. So the whole competition, you've got like super high scores for this trick. If you're the only one that can do it, you've got a super big advantage to win. So I mean, yeah, I understand if you keep it a secret.
For sure, and just like sneak it out like a teaser just before the just before the
Yeah,
comp.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
girls, this is what I'm going to pull off in 20 minutes.
yeah, yeah,
Nice, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That's cool. So being a pro, you get the fortunate, you get to travel a little bit. So is there a favorite wing foil spot around the world that you'd like to share
Um,
so far?
well, like I said, I I spent a lot of time in Cape Town in my youth, and I don't know why, but I really still love to go there. It's one of my favorite places. And this year I also discovered downwind subfoiling, and yeah, it's such a good location for it as well. So I really
Oh,
enjoyed it
nice.
again this year. And yeah, so that's one of my favorite places to go. And then on the tour this year of the places I went, I really enjoyed Dakla as well because we had quite good waves for winging. I was like out every sunrise every morning before the competition, even if I was like the first heat of the day, because I was just enjoying the conditions a lot and there was no one out in the morning. So that's two of the places I really enjoyed this year. And I mean, we get to go to so many nice places, but I must say I prefer the wave spot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wave
Yeah,
spots are your favorite. Huh.
yeah.
How how is it getting to like meet and travel to so many different airports and meet so many different cultures? Like that must be a pretty cool aspect of being on tour.
Yeah. It's a really special, even not even maybe the countries, but also really the people that are on tour, like from so many different countries, like getting to know their culture, and also sometimes even traveling to their home country and then them welcoming you. It's really a special thing to have friends all over the world, and also to see a lot of cultures. I think also like here we're like um, I grew up like in South Africa, and that's also Africa, but this is a different type of Africa. You're like on an island, and it's really a really nice place as well. I really enjoy it.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be pretty fun. Back in the Netherlands, like how much time do you get to spend at home? I guess just your off season or?
Yeah, so I just finished my master's degree last year, like in October or November. So I was, if there wasn't a competition, I would be like at home. I would be at home as much as possible, and then I would say I would be 5 months at home. I think 5 6 months. But now that I'm not studying anymore, I can come earlier before the competition. I can stay longer if I want. I have more time to train on like do training trips. So I think I'm gonna be home, away from home a lot more than that now.
Well,
Yeah,
that'll be kind of fun. Travel around, see some
yeah,
different things. Um,
yeah, exactly.
so I know you were riding for North, and we love North. Like Mike from North, we've been talking to him. Amazing guy, great team over there. But you're wearing a nice Armstrong shirt. So can we talk a little bit
Yeah.
about that transition into why you've decided to ride for those guys?
I had a great 2 years with Lowe's, and I really enjoyed the team and the gear, and it was a really. I live in Noordwijk in the Netherlands, and the North Action Sports Group headquarters is like 5 minutes away from my house. And I even did my thesis for Mystic, so I had a really close connection to the brand, and it was really good. But I got to chatting with Armstrong, and I got to spend some time with Cash also at the competitions, and I was super impressed with his riding. And I got chatting with the Armstrong team, and yeah, um, they just gave me a really nice opportunity to be able to like full time invest all my time into wing foiling, do the tour. I'm really love the gear, so I think I just grabbed the chance and went for it with Armstrong.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's kind of cool. And obviously,
Yeah.
we love the people at North, but
Yeah.
I think you're going to be welcomed with open arms to this team. So, which foils do you like the best from that whole range now?
So I've been using the MA foils mostly for winging, for freestyle waves, and I've been really loving them. Also, especially in the waves, carving, I have so much control and ease. And then with the prone foiling and supping, I've been using the HA foils, and I feel like I've progressed so much just in 1 month, trying the foils, and I was just pumping around, carving on the waves with the prone as well, and I really, yeah. So I'm really impressed with like the glide and everything. So I've been really, yeah, enjoying it. So for me, it was a good, like when you change brands, it's you get thrown into the unknown as well a little bit, and it's just been a really good experience thus far. So
So, do you find there's a difference? Like, have you had the opportunity to ride the brand new MAs from North and do a bit of a comparison to Armstrong? Did you feel a big difference between the two of them?
yeah, I feel quite a little bit of a difference. I think the Armstrong MA is a little bit I feel maybe a little bit faster, and even if I'm a little bit on maybe even bigger size of the Armstrong, it doesn't feel that way. So it's quite still very loose on the wave. And even today, I tried in 1,000 MA because the waves were like tiny, tiny, and I would never ride 1,000. But they told me like, okay, try it with the smallest backstab you have, and I was still having a lot of control. Even like I'm not like a heavy big guy, but still I was having a lot of control on the wave and being able to make sharp turns. So I was very impressed with how well it turns, even on the little bit bigger sizes. So that makes it fun for like the super mushy small sessions at home as well, which I have to think of. There's no Ponta Preta in my backyard.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to convince them to pay you a flight. But yeah, that works.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that way, like the world has become really small
True.
with flying, but if I'm at home, it's not so fantastic.
Yeah, that's fair. What are the conditions like in the Netherlands?
Well, I live in Noordwijk in the Netherlands, which is really choppy, can be really stormy and windy, but I actually quite enjoy it because you have a lot of like wind swell and you can ride like big bumps outside. We have some waves, but we also have a lot of current. So if there's a bit more wind, especially if there's a few days, it's like nearly impossible to get out. Sometimes I've had some walks of shames. So I think Noordwijk, where I live, is definitely not the best place for winging, but we have a lot better places like Wijk aan Zee, where they have like a pier, in Scheveningen, where it's much cleaner because there's a pier. So, but I must say, if I'm traveling, I don't mind like sitting in the car an hour and driving everywhere. But when I'm at home, I'm really stuck to my little village and my little home spot and my own surf club. I don't know why. It's just I've been going there for years and it's just in the system.
Yeah, that's fun though. Like we all have our favorite spots close to home that we love to go to. Like we got a couple spots when I'm home in Ottawa. Like the river is still super special. It's nothing crazy, obviously condition wise, but you can have some really good memories. That's where I learned all my sports. So it's nice to kind of go back and reconnect with
Yeah.
that family. I think that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that too.
What tour spots are you thinking of attending this year? All of them?
All of them.
Okay, that's easy.
So I was really looking forward to this one. To Dakla, I'm really looking forward. And then everything on the Canary Islands, I really like. And the two competitions in Brazil. And actually, that's most of them, I guess. But
yeah, I think that's up to 8.
Yeah,
8 out of 10 or something. Yeah.
yeah. No, yeah. No, this year I also really enjoyed the Canaries. Like Pozo with the hardcore wind, and I really enjoyed that. It was special. Of course, also like a legendary windsurf spot, so that was cool to be able to ride there on the wing. And then Fuerte I also really liked. We were at Sotavento, I think it's called, and there's not really supposed to be so much waves there, but we actually had some waves, so it was super fun. It was like a skate ramp. It was super fun waves.
Oh, nice. How does it feel like winging wind that strong? Like, because those places, they push pretty high, don't they?
I think Pozo was like overwhelmingly, the wind was like overwhelming. Like I'm used to Cape Town, which is also super windy, so I was like, I can handle that. But then when I got there, I was like, and the wind is non-stop. It's like 24/7. Also, if you stay like in Pozo, you just go crazy from the wind after a few days.
Oh yeah, because it doesn't shut off, eh?
No.
Oh
But
yeah.
then if you drive like 15 minutes away, there's suddenly like no wind. And then you step out of the car and you're like, peace.
It's funny how that works, eh? We want wind during the day, but as soon as you get to like supper time or anything, you just want it to go away. That's why thermal spots are cool, but you don't get thermal spots everywhere. And for folks at home, like we started half the interview, we're in this awesome little house, but now the internet failed. So Bo's outside right now. Our buddy Kieran's just on the other side of the camera. Yeah, we can talk about waves.
Yeah.
Did you guys just get a little bit of swell?
Yeah, so there was finally a little bit of swell. So we had a session at Ponta Preta and we went out at some other spots further up north as well. It was super fun. I mean, it was good to finally get out in the waves, and Ponta Preta was super busy with kiters, so it's a little bit of a struggle. But we went out to like till the sun went down to like the very last moment, and the kiters were going out of the water. So that was epic. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
good to be able to get out before the competition and get used to the wave a bit.
Oh, that's sweet. Nice. What were the conditions like then? How big was it?
Um, I'm really bad at measuring this. How big were the waves, Kieran? 3 foot set.
3 foot. That's pretty good.
But today got a bit smaller again. So then it's at Puna you can't wing. It's like the rocks are too shallow, so the wave is breaking like onto the rocks. So we gotta wait it out again a bit.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. And what Armstrong gear were you riding for folks at home that want to know a bit more?
So yesterday I was using my 625 MA with my 140 backtail, and then today we went to another spot with a bit more mushy waves, and I was going for my 800 with the 140, which I think I prefer maybe that for the moment.
What would you say the biggest difference would be between an 800 and a 630?
Yeah, I mean the 800, it turns so well, so it's just feeling really good, and it's like it's not feeling too big for me, so I'm feeling really stable and really nice on the waves. But I should test it a bit out, like which combination with the tail I would like. Maybe in a competition I would rather use like the 180 back tail, because then it's a bit more stable on the bottom turns. Can make maybe better, like nicer carbs on the bottom. But I'm still testing out the gear. So, and Cash arrived yesterday, so now I'm like every time looking at what he is riding, like okay, I'm gonna try that next time.
Oh, sick. That must be fun, eh? To ride with people at crazy level, so you can always, especially on the same team, so you can kind of
Yeah,
cross and see
yeah,
what gear works and
yeah.
how it does. And
Oh,
um,
I haven't ridden with like people from the tour in 2 months, so it's good to be back with everybody who's riding on a high level, because really it motivates you a lot to get better, and it's like sometimes a bit inspirational to see like these guys are riding so well. So it's a really nice feeling again after 2 months.
so we were looking a little bit at prone foiling last time, and you said obviously you like the HAs a little bit more for it. Would there be a difference as to why you would go HA versus kind of MA?
Yeah, I think more glide, pumping really well out. I would definitely choose HA if you're into pro foiling.
Okay. Are you using their wings then too?
Yeah,
Like their hand wings? Yeah?
X. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
cool. What do you think about those? And which ones are you using?
I'm using the XPS. Correct me if I'm
Okay.
wrong. Sorry, I just
Yeah.
received them. I
No, that's
don't
a
know
new one.
what yeah, and no, I'm really enjoying them. I've focused a lot on wave riding, but I really love how it like when you're just holding it on the leading edge, how it just follows my lead. So that's I think really important with wave riding. Here at Cape Verde, the wind is pretty side offshore, so it doesn't really get in your way. But I think it's really important that you can just pull it behind you when you're wave riding. So I'm really enjoying that. And also, what I really like is I feel also when you're like riding a bit in the critical section and you want to like tack out of the wave, it's really easy, and it like lifts me out off of the wave, out of like the little critical sections at the end. So that's also something I was enjoying, like in Cape Town when I was riding a bit in shallow sections and stuff. That I felt like comfortable, like not having to swim every time because I was like falling out of the wave and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So it
Yeah,
has a little bit of
yeah,
pop
yeah.
and power. Get you
Yeah,
out
I
of
also feel
trouble.
like in attack it like lifts you a bit out instead of some wings sometimes pushing you down a little bit. Sometimes in attack, I don't know exact why it happens, but I was really enjoying this on that wing as well.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I got to try them in Hood River, and like the soft and carbon kind of, because I guess it's carbon inside, right? But it's
Yeah, yeah,
soft
yeah.
handle on the inside. I kind of like that combination, and they had a lot of different like material patterns, which I found were interesting, and they had good low end. Like not every wing has good low end while
Yeah,
maintaining
exactly. Yeah.
canopy tension. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was. I've been riding handles now for a bit more than 2 years, so it was getting. I had to get a bit used to the hybrid handles, but I'm actually really enjoying it. Also because it's maybe a bit thinner than the handles, and I have really small hands, so it was for me nice with like the spins when you're like with your fingers, and you can switch it like a lot easier in the air, like mid turn.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah,
So Do you still prefer like a hard handle wing, or is this kind of like a happy kind of medium?
I think it's quite a happy medium. I think it's also a lot about what you're used to. Like with freestyle, you're so dialed into your gear after a while, you just have to get used to something. And as long as the handles are hard, I'm happy. And if I have like good grip and I can switch my fingers because I love doing spins with freestyle. So I start like the trick like this and I end like I turn and then I grab it with my other finger. So I need to be able to wrap around the handle quite well. So that's quite important for me for some of the spins. So that's really important. But I think sometimes a little bit of a longer front handle with what is maybe sometimes a bit better. So I'm used to like still getting used to like the hand position sometimes.
Oh yeah, like would you prefer a boom for some of your
Because
stuff?
they're a little bit, yeah, maybe, or yeah, I don't know. But I don't like to travel with a boom. So I think you need to find a little bit the best of both worlds.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like unless it's one you can compress or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That could
I
be
guess
something.
I think just
Yeah.
the two handles that you can fold it easily is really it's really handy. So maybe yeah, I think I would prefer that. Yeah.
And what about board size?
So I'm using the 48 liter board. So actually, all of my sessions, 48 liter used to be my biggest board size. But I must say, like, I feel like a lot of the brands are compressing their boards a bit. So the bit more literage, a bit fatter. So it feels like still like a super small board, but I still have the liters I need to compete and float around if the wind is a bit shifty. So I've been really, really enjoying this size. I think it's perfect for everything. Also for wave riding, it's not too wide. So I'm really liking the dimensions.
For wave riding, do you prefer a board that, like you just said, kind of floats a little bit more, so you have to get out of trouble? You can kind of do it quickly, or do you like one that sinks a tiny bit?
Well, on the 48, I'm sinking a little bit. Like before I was competing, I was riding like 34 liters to like 40 liters, but I just realized with competing, you need a little bit of liters because it happens so often that you're floating and the wind isn't optimal. So you gotta just train on the gear you're gonna compete on. So now I'm just always using the 48 liter. I'm actually really enjoying this.
Okay.
So I think I'm not gonna go down in liters anymore, except for like prone foiling or toe in, or if it's like lasting like more than 40 knots.
Yeah, well, it's a decent size. Like I finally hopped on something smaller. I hopped on a 56 or 57 liter, and I'm riding strapless and more of like a,
Oh yeah.
I don't know, swell surf kind of thing. And I liked it. Like it was a little bit smaller than the other one that I had to keep me dry, but I like the smaller size. It felt a little bit more nimble. Do you like a board that's a little bit
Yeah,
longer? Do you
exactly.
find that helps in waves?
I don't know. I think for a wakeboard, it's like what I find really important is it's not too wide, so it's quite narrow. So if you're making like sharp turns, you don't feel like your board is gonna like the sides are gonna touch the water, and that you just have enough liters and that it's like long enough so you can easily start. So you're not gonna be floating around. So I don't know. Like most of the boards I use are between 4.4 and 4.6. Maybe 4.7 I would use, but I also don't like to go much longer than that because if I want to do some freestyle or maybe some jumps on it, I don't want it to be much longer because this is just the length I'm used to.
And then you said you guys got out for some fun. Finally, we got a little bit of swell rolling in, so contest is starting to look better and better. You're thinking?
Yeah, I think everybody's talking all the time that the swell's coming, the swell's coming. I don't really like to look on the forecast too many
You
days
mentioned that,
ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to get disappointed. We're telling Kieran he's not allowed to watch the forecast for more than one day ahead of time, and he gets really upset with us. I think in the night he's like laying in bed, like checking the forecast, but we can't check him.
That's cool. Okay, so we're gonna anticipate it being super awesome. How did it feel getting back on that wave then today?
Felt super good, except for like how busy it was. I was. It's you need to study the wave a bit. So on the water it was super busy. So even like being out there and riding it a bit and like trying to get the wave, you can already see like, hey, this is like the section I want to catch the wave, and I can speed through it to that section. Or when a set looks a bit more fatter on the left side, it's probably going to be a better wave. So it's really good to study the wave a bit for the competition. So already just being out there on the water, you can see that it's important.
Because I guess you got to study everything, right? Like, where is it starting to break? Where should where
Yes.
should I line up?
I mean,
Like all of those
I
things.
think both are really important, like feeling it from the water, because sometimes you can maybe like look from the beach and say like, okay, this is the section I want to go on, and then when you're on the water, like, oh, was it this rock or if I that rock? Like the view changes from the water. So it's really important to maybe watch someone who's already been training there for a while and see what they're doing, and then combine it with your own experience out on the water. I actually really like it at competitions if they send the guys out first and I can study a bit what they're doing. Because
Yeah.
like also you can see a bit how it's being scored, especially the competition where there's not so many females. You don't get a lot of chances to study and learn from your scores during the competition. So it's good to study other person's seats and see what they're doing.
When it gets bigger there, is that wave starting to barrel? Like, do you have a bit of lip that you have to be careful for on the foil so you don't get caught up washing machine? Like, is it that intense or is it not so bad?
I think the first section of the wave is also really fast, so you just need to speed through it kind of. And if you don't speed through it, you're gonna get pretty munched by the wave, and then you get caught onto the rocks pretty easily. So I think you need to be pretty careful. But I think it isn't as bad as what everybody says, or what it looks like sometimes. I don't know. Last year, I didn't really feel like there's some people had a few like bad washes, but nothing like too crazy that everybody was on the beach like this, with their hands in
Okay.
front of their eyes.
Well, that's positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's positive.
I also think you wash ashore so quickly that the moment that everything is going wrong is over very quickly.
Do you like to ride with leashes or no?
I've actually stopped using board leashes, also because I feel like sometimes when you get washed, the board and the wing go together. You have more chance on like that your foil's going into your wing. And I only wear a board leash if I'm downwinding and I know I'm going to be like pretty deep on the ocean or really don't want to lose my board. And for us, mostly just without a board leash, yeah. But I feel like a lot of competitors are not doing it. So
you're leashing up with your wing now?
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Oh,
I have
around
it
your
around
arm?
my
Awesome.
arm.
So it's a nice little break then. You got
Yeah.
a few days to kind of train, relax, take in the sights. What are your favorite spots to go visit while you're in that part of the world?
So you have the plantoon here, like the pier, and then all the fishermen are coming ashore there as well. So they're selling like and cutting up a lot of fish. But there's a manta ray, like a really big one. It comes, I think, every day. So we like to just go up there with sunset and see if it's around. It's like really beautiful with the sun going down. So if you're visiting the island, I would definitely do that. And let me think what else. Yeah, just yesterday we were driving around for like hours and like looking at all the little wave breaks. So it's really nice. Island's pretty beautiful. You have a lot of like little beaches everywhere. And going on electric bicycles cruising around the island is really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like
just
the fat
tried one of
bikes.
those. I tried one of those in La Ventana. It's like an e-assist fat bike. And I was like
Yeah.
it made my 3 kilometer hike to the gym. Like it was a joke, but
Yeah.
super cool. Those things. I'd never really ridden one before.
Yeah. We did it last year. It was super fun. But here, in the Netherlands, you have like rules that you need to always paddle, but here you could just go. It's like go super fast.
Come over to America when there's like 6 cheeseburgers and like e-bikes everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We got a little obesity pandemic going
yeah.
on over here, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll get through it. Okay, that's cool. Any kind of pre-game rituals that you love to do before contest or a couple days before?
No, I guess not actually. I'm pretty. Maybe it depends on where you are. Sometimes I like to listen to a little bit of music before going out, take a little bit of me time, check the gear. I always do like to rig my own gear. I don't like it if someone like, even if I have a caddy, I like to check everything myself. Because not if you're on the water, like it sounds like something's wrong or it feels like there's a screw loose. If you check everything yourself, you know that's not gonna happen.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I've had it once that my mom pumped up my wing and then it was like leaking during my heat and I was like, oh, she must have not put it on correctly, like the little, like, and then it was just me who like killed the wing and probably like warming up before the heat. But then you don't want any of those thoughts before heat, so it's always better to do it yourself.
Yeah, no, that's 100% sure. That makes sense. And then how many wings do
Yeah.
you normally have set up on the beach? Do you have a couple in a heat just in case?
Um, Mostly at least 1 to 2 on the beach. It depends a
Okay.
bit on like what's the wind, like maybe, or just one extra size of the perfect size for that day. Like if you have a really stable wind, or like one size smaller and one size larger of what I'm planning to use, just to see if the wind changes, you have something ready. And then also extra board setup.
Just in case. That makes sense.
So if the board, you really lose the board. And then I always try to get someone to caddy me, like someone, like just ask a friend who's competing, like, hey, this is my heat is then and then. Can you please, like, if you see I'm in trouble, bring me my wing or bring me my board or whatever. And sometimes we have like signs on the beach that they can tell you if you're like winning or losing, or if you what you should do during the heat. But often it's like super
Yeah, we talked
confusing, and
about
you
that.
end up not even really using it. But it's sometimes it's nice beforehand. You're a little bit nervous to just talk about like, okay, so if this happens to that, and just like plan it and stuff. But in the end, I think it's especially important if you have like freestyle competition and you have like maybe 2 waves and you can do 2 wave scores counting and 2 freestyle tricks counting. Like, okay, should I use my last attempt for a wave or for a freestyle trick? Like, I think that's when it gets pretty like helpful, the information, because it's a jury sport, and sometimes you feel like you're doing your waves were super good or your freestyle was super good, but maybe it's the other way around. You're really sometimes you just don't know when you're out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have like an Apple Watch or any kind of watch where you would talk to your like an F1 where they have their whole team on the side and they like do you have that kind of thing for in your corner that'll tell you that
Uh,
stuff or is it more just signs and flags and different things?
it's like hand signs and hat off, sunglasses on. I don't know,
Like
like this kind
baseball.
of stuff. I've seen everything. I've seen Alan and Iran doing like a seagull. I have no idea what the seagull means, but it was like a faster seagull, a slower seagull, or something. I don't know what it meant, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Like steal third right now, Bo. Steal third. Come on. I said, all right, cool. That means go for a freestyle
yeah,
move. Oh, that's so
yeah,
cool. Nice. I guess that makes sense. And obviously, how, like, obviously you're looking to win. So all of those things you have to take into consideration, right? Like, you have to have a bit of a team from shore calculating stuff because then how could you know if you're getting
yeah.
caught up in paying attention to your surroundings on the ocean a bit more?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think it's that's like competing isn't only like who's the best on the water, it's also very strategic often, I guess, especially in these situations where you have like choices between freestyle or weights, or even yeah, like am I gonna go for a trick that's super difficult but it's gonna get me like a super high score and I have a chance of crashing it, or am I just gonna, or do I just need to get a little bit higher score so I can do a trick that I'm sure of landing and I can just want to land it better than I landed it before? It's very strategic as well, and also not letting the nerves get to you, like just doing your thing and like focusing.
Yeah, being zen in a moment where you have a timed kind of sensitive period where you have to throw down. Do you, looking at the conditions in the morning, do you then go out and have kind of like a heat plan where you're like, okay, I'm going to see, I know what I would like to throw. These are what the conditions are offering. So this could offer me like an 8 or a 10 point score or whatever. Or do you kind of wing it as you go?
Um, I think at a certain moment, like every competition, before going into the competition, you already know, like, okay, these are my like 4 best scoring tricks I have like in my portfolio, and you'll always try to get those 4 tricks in your heat, I guess. And then um, my plan is always just try to land all 4, and then if I have attempts left, then go for, or try to better those scores, or do something like try something else, something that might score higher, but that I have a smaller chance of landing. I think that's also a technique probably a lot of people are using. But sometimes I watch other people's heats and then I'm like, oh my gosh, you've already landed this and you don't have your tricks full. Why are you doing this? Please, just do something else. I don't know.
And then you go into your Zen moment. Who do you think is your biggest competitor at this contest that's coming up there next week?
So from last year, my two biggest competitors were Muna and Nia, of course. They were first and second last year. And Muna, of course, she has really beautiful style. I think she's really focused on wave riding. She's not freestyling at all. So and she's had already quite a couple of competitions here at Ponta Preta on the kite. So she knows the wave pretty well. So that's are her very strong points. And then Nia, she has a lot of skills on the wing, and she's been doing like 360s on the wave and airs and stuff. That's something she's strong at. So that's something for me to look out with her. So and we might have some new girls that I don't know yet, but for us three, that's I think their strong points.
Okay. Now, how many ladies are competing in this contest? Do you know?
I actually don't know. I think it's not so much. I was actually really disappointed with the wave tour. I thought it would attract more women to compete because I feel like the waves on the wing foil is super fun, like easier going than freestyle in my mind, like for women as well. But I don't know. For some reason, it's not really that attractive for some reason, I guess. But there's a lot of women that are not, they're good enough to compete, definitely, but they're just not into it, or they're saying, oh, I'm not good enough yet. But the best way to improve is to compete. So I'm always trying to pursue having more girls, but it's difficult.
So would you say that, like, if there was women that were thinking of coming out on tour, what do you think the biggest pain points would be? Is it logistics and finances? Is it sponsors? Is it fear of getting injured or hurt? Or
I think maybe Ponta Preta, it's also a little bit fear of the wave because it has such a gnarly image, I guess, and it looks pretty gnarly on the live stream as well. And maybe it's also just logistics and sponsorship, and I mean, also like the first competition you do, like for me as well, like a little bit of my travel got paid, but most of like the costs were for myself. But I just wanted to see and wanted to try out, and then after that, because I did well in the competition, you get like more and more supported by your sponsor as well. So it's the only way really to get that. But I don't know. I just need to call all the girls to come and compete. It's super fun.
Just give them a shout.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
which I think is important for you ladies who are on tour to help. I guess you're already saying it, like you're giving them and putting that out there that more should compete, because I think it's a wonderful and beautiful way to see the world, and then how do you find that competing has changed you in personally? Do you find that you can deal with stressful situations a bit more? Because you're dealing with so many things at the same time. Culture shock, putting yourself into a brand new situation on the water, and then also having to deal with so many different factors. Like, do you find personally it's helped you grow or achieve more goals? Or
Yeah, definitely, like a lot of personal growth. I've always traveled a bit, but like the amount of I'm traveling now, you learn so much life lessons. You get street smart, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, with just traveling and flying and planning everything for yourself, like organizing yourself. Also, if you travel, sometimes things go wrong, and you just have to accept it. Like, like if you miss a flight, or you book a wrong place, or you end up somewhere, I don't know. So many things go wrong. And then I think what in the beginning I had, sometimes it would stress me out a little bit. And now I'm just like, okay, how am I going to fix this? Maybe just keep on going, you know? And I think it's a good characteristic to have, like to be very solution orientated.
Yeah, especially if your gear doesn't arrive on time, or all these different kind of things that happen when you're traveling to different countries. Yeah.
And I think every time I travel again, I learn new, like new things. Something goes wrong and you learn from it, you know. So, but it's also like once you start competing, maybe the first time, like if I was a girl and I wouldn't have competed ever, like the first time it's kind of nervous, you don't know anybody yet, but after a while, like the people on tour are my second family, you know, so I've spent more time with them than my actual family or my friends from home, so it's really nice extra you get for competing.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for joining me back up today and finishing the second half of this interview. And so, what's on store for right now? It's what 4:30 over where you guys are at.
Check for a sundown session, and otherwise rest up and go for dinner and be ready for tomorrow.
Okay. What's oh yeah, tomorrow more training.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Of course, yeah, every day. Well, hey, thanks, Bo. Thanks for joining and thanks for chatting with us, getting to know you a little bit better. And we are
Yeah,
looking
thanks for
forward to
having
seeing
me.
you on the live feed. And I wish you luck and hope the contest goes really well.
Thank you, thank you. You have
Awesome.
fun in La Fontana.
Yes, I cannot wait. It's going to be very fun.
Yeah,
Very
I can
fun.
imagine.
Do some good. Like we did, I think, an 8 or 10K downwinder.
Oh, wow, nice.
That's gonna be pretty sweet. Yeah, it took us an hour to make up like 6K or 7K back upwind, which is pretty fun actually. I'd never done that, but so
Oh,
we
you're doing
did
like an up down winder.
yeah,
Down or down.
yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah.
a down and up, a down and up, and then after you sleep for an
Maybe you
hour.
should go
But
up first and then go down.
I could do that. You could go like do a 15, 10 or 12K downwinder. Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
went all the
yeah.
way down to the beach and played in the waves over there, and then came all the way back up. That was pretty sweet. Well, hey, enjoy supper then, and
Yeah, thanks.
thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll talk to you all soon.